Love bombing is a term that has gained increasing attention in the world of psychology and relationships, particularly in conversations about emotional abuse, narcissism, and manipulation. But what exactly is love bombing? Why does it work? And how does it impact those on the receiving end? To understand the phenomenon, we must look at its roots, psychological mechanisms, and long-term effects. What is love bombing? Love bombing is a manipulation tactic that involves overwhelming someone with excessive affection, attention, gifts, and praise in the early stages of a relationship. It might look like constant texting, extravagant romantic gestures, flattery, and the rapid escalation of commitment, sometimes within days or weeks of meeting. While it can feel incredibly flattering and romantic at first, love bombing is often used as a way to gain control over another person. Once the target is emotionally invested, the love bomber may shift gears, using emotional withdrawal, criticism, or devaluation to destabilize their partner and maintain dominance. The psychological roots of love bombing. At its core, love bombing taps into our most basic human needs: connection, validation, and belonging. From infancy, we are wired to seek out warmth and attention from others. This deep-seated need makes the initial phase of love bombing particularly powerful. The excessive attention and affirmation stimulate the brain's reward system, releasing dopamine, oxytocin, and other feel-good chemicals. These chemicals reinforce the bond, making the recipient feel euphoric, desired, and deeply connected. It creates an intense emotional high that can be difficult to walk away from. For the love bomber, particularly if they exhibit narcissistic or borderline traits, the behavior is often driven by a need for control, admiration, and the avoidance of abandonment. The initial outpouring of love isn't just about the other person. It's about creating a sense of security and power for themselves. Why love bombing works? Love bombing is effective because it creates a psychological dependency. The victim begins to crave the emotional high that came with the initial phase of idealization. When that affection is suddenly taken away or replaced with criticism, the individual may become desperate to get back to that initial closeness, not realizing it was manufactured. This cycle of idealization and devaluation mirrors the dynamics of intermittent reinforcement, a concept from behavioral psychology. When rewards, in this case, love and affection, are given unpredictably, they become more potent and addictive. It's the same principle that keeps people pulling the lever on a slot machine. You never know when the payoff will come, but you keep hoping it will. Additionally, many people who fall prey to love bombing may have histories of trauma, abandonment, or low self-worth. This can make the intense initial affection feel like a healing bomb. But instead of genuine healing, love bombing often leads to further emotional harm. Red flags and warning signs. Recognizing love bombing can be tricky, especially when you're in the middle of it. Here are some common warning signs. Too much too soon. Rapid declarations of love or pressure to commit early. Constant communication. Non-stop texts, calls, and check-ins. Over-the-top gestures. Lavish gifts or grand romantic displays that feel disproportionate to the stage of the relationship. Isolation. Subtle, or not so subtle, efforts to distance you from friends or family. Emotional whiplash. Periods of intense closeness followed by sudden emotional distance or criticism. Long-term impact of love bombing. The psychological aftermath of being love bombed can be deeply destabilizing. Once the idealization fades, the individual may be left feeling confused, anxious, and desperate for validation. This can lead to codependency, a belief that their worth is tied to the love bomber's affection. And self-doubt. Constant questioning of one's own perceptions and feeling. Trauma bonds. Strong emotional ties to someone who is causing emotional harm. Depression and anxiety. As a result of emotional manipulation and invalidation, many survivors describe the experience as emotionally disorienting, even after the relationship ends. They may struggle to trust future partners or to differentiate between healthy affection and manipulative behavior. Healing from love bombing. Recovery from love bombing requires time, self-compassion, and often professional support. Here are some steps to begin the healing process. Recognize the pattern. Understanding what happened can be empowering and validating. Rebuild self-trust. Practice listening to your own needs and boundaries. Seek support. Therapy, support groups, or trusted friends can help you process and heal. Set boundaries. Learn to recognize red flags and set healthy limits in future relationships. Focus on self-worth. Reconnect with activities, values, and people that affirm your sense of self. Conclusion: love bombing is a powerful form of emotional manipulation that masquerades as romantic intensity. Its effectiveness lies in its ability to tap into our deepest psychological needs for love, connection, and validation. But what begins as a fairy tale can quickly become a nightmare if the affection turns conditional or controlling. By understanding the psychology behind love bombing, we empower ourselves to recognize manipulation, set healthier boundaries, and build relationships rooted in mutual respect and authenticity. Real love is not about overwhelming intensity, it's about steady, consistent connection that honors both partners' autonomy and emotional well-being.